We asked all day today what people wanted to ask. One of the first questions, the beard. People are huge fans of it. What is the origin of the beard? Is it Obi-Wan Kenobi? I know you're a Star Wars fan. What is it?
So to be honest, it was just the hell of it. It was now a couple of years ago over Thanksgiving. I mean, over the holidays, I usually don't shave over the holidays, but normally when I come back, I'll pull out the razor and shave. And I spent a week off with the family for Thanksgiving and came back Monday morning and just said, all right, I haven't grown a beard since law school. I feel like it. And so it started as a lark. You'll appreciate, some of my political team. I immediately got emails from my political team. Worst idea ever. Which pissed me off enough. I'm like, all right, then I'm going to keep the damn thing. And I got to tell you, it's fascinating. There is a generational divide on the question of the beard. So folks that are 20-something or 30-something or even 40-something are generally pro-beard. Mm-hmm. But there is a cohort, and they are largely women in their 70s and 80s, who do not like the beard. And one of them I can actually identify is Dianne Feinstein.
Oh, no.
So on the Senate floor, this is probably a year ago, I was standing on the Senate floor actually talking to Mitch McConnell. And Dianne Feinstein walks up and goes, Mitch, when are we going to get Ted to shave that hideous thing on his face? And I turned to her, I said, Dianne, next thing you know, I'm getting Birkenstocks, I'm growing a ponytail, and I'm coming after your base. Mitch howled laughing, and Dianne did not know what to say. She was truly, truly speechless at that game.
She should be scared because Joe Biden can't go to blue states now without there being armies of conservatives, freedom lovers, Trump supporters standing there saying, get out of our state. You saw this in Michigan. You saw this in New Jersey. They're saying, let's go,
Benny,
Brandon.
I'm sorry. I've got to fact check you. That's not what they're saying. They're saying, let's go, Brandon. There are a lot of NASCAR fans, and just Biden brings that out. That is the sentiment that bursts to the top.
That was one of the top questions. So I had our team go through and find the top questions for this Facebook Live, and we just want to say thank you up front. This is a new medium, and it's very authentic.
Give me a Shiner Bock, would you?
Yeah. Look at this. So this is Ted Cruz. If you don't know Shiner Bock, best Texas beer. I can say it. You probably have you represent hundreds, maybe thousands of breweries. Maybe you can't say it. I can say it. Shiner Bock, fantastic Texas beer.
By the way, Benny, one day, this was probably 7-8 years ago. I was in Central Texas, went to the Shiner Brewery, which is awesome. It's in Shiner, Texas. Went to a Central Texas winery. And then went to a gun range and fired fully automatic machine guns. And I thought, all right, this is the perfect day.
This is the perfect medium for you. You and I have worked together on various projects. It's been very fun. It's authentic. This medium it's real. This is actually just the senator with his cell phone sitting on at his desk, right? He's going to be drinking a beer. What was I thinking? I should have had a beer. We'll try that next time. We'll call it Beers with Ted. Ben and Ted's Great Adventure is what we'll call it. Let's go, Brandon. You saw that. Did you see the clip?
I saw it, and it truly is stunning. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
People wanted me to ask you about it.
So I'm going to confess, not only did I see it, so yesterday, or 2 days ago, I tweeted out a picture of Wheel of Fortune with F space CK JOE B space DEN, and I said, I'd like to solve the puzzle. It's Let's Go Brandon. and Twitter kind of melted down, and I will admit, so who's mad? My dad is pissed at me, and I love my dad. My dad's a pastor, and he's mad that I tweeted it, and he's got a point. But it was too damn funny. I actually agonized for a minute because I didn't necessarily like amplifying the profanity, but the clip is surreal. Like listening to the NBC reporter say, look, they're chanting, let's go, Brandon. It captures everything about fake news all at once.
That's right. That's right. I know, Senator, your time is precious. We had the #1 question today was about Let's Go Brandon. We have a large, young following that loves memes. They loved that you tweeted that meme. They love that you love memes, so they wanted me to ask about it. But runner up, like I'm talking thousands of people, want me to ask you about the border.
Yeah.
What is going on with the invasion on our country? You are the lion from Texas. They see you at the border. They watched you today in the press conference. But people are asking, and I want to be very poignant here, people are saying enough bluster. What the hell is going on? How do we fix it? Who's going to do something? Please.
So we know how to fix it because we know what broke it. 3 decisions Joe Biden made the very first day in office. 1, he immediately halted construction of the border wall. 2, he reinstated catch and release, which is a disaster. And 3, the biggest one of the 3 is he ended the incredibly successful Remain in Mexico agreement. Now, what was that? Remain in Mexico was an international agreement that President Trump negotiated with the government of Mexico. And Mexico agreed that those who cross illegally from other countries into Mexico would remain in Mexico while their U.S. asylum cases were proceeding. And Remain in Mexico worked incredibly well. Remain in Mexico produced the lowest illegal immigration in 45 years. And so what did Joe Biden do? The very first week in office, he ended the agreement. And the result of that, we have today the highest rate of illegal immigration in 21 years. And it was an immediate cause and effect. It's indefensible. How do we fix it? We know how to fix it. Start building the wall again, end catch and release, and enter Remain in Mexico again. Now, here's the problem. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris do not give a damn. Unfortunately, there are consequences, and really bad consequences, when you have a Democratic president and a Democratic Senate and a Democratic House. Because the Border Patrol works for the president. And I've spent a lot of time with Border Patrol agents. Those guys are heroes. I've gone out multiple times on midnight patrol with the Border Patrol agents. You want to talk about beaten down and demoralized right now. I mean, imagine you're out there every night. You're risking your life. You're apprehending drug traffickers, human traffickers. You bring them in, and your political superiors turn around and let them go. I mean, I don't know how every single one of them doesn't say to hell with you all and quit tomorrow. Like, it is amazing to me that a single one of those guys shows up to work tomorrow. But as long as we have never seen a president do what Joe Biden did. Barack Obama was bad. He was reluctant to enforce immigration law, but he actually deported a lot of people. Joe Biden has just said, we're ignoring it. We don't deport people. It is open borders. And that is what's causing the crisis. And in Congress, look, neither Chuck Schumer nor Nancy Pelosi gives a flip. I went off today in the Senate Judiciary Committee. We're 10 months into this year. We haven't held a single hearing in judiciary on the border because the Senate Democrats do not care. We've had 4 hearings on amnesty. We've had 5 on the federal government takeover of election that the Democrats want, but nothing on the border. And I pointed out, I said, look, you need to understand why. The Democrats do not care. 2 million people crossing the border illegally. They do not care. Hundreds of thousands of children, kids in cages. We heard for 4 years, kids in cages over and over again. I said today, I said, every Democrat who said that, you now know they were lying because there are more kids, the cages are bigger, and they're more full, and they don't care at all. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to know about it. They don't care about kids being sexually assaulted and physically assaulted by the traffickers. They don't care about the drugs that are flooding across. They don't care about the illegal immigrants who die and are left to die in the desert. And they don't care about the hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants with COVID coming into this country. Look, they're willing to do illegal mandates on Americans and American citizens,
yes,
but they don't give a flip about this deluge of illegal immigration with COVID because they've given their agenda to the open border crazies.
Can Texas build a wall?
Yes, and we're in the process of doing so. So the legislature has allocated a bunch of money. They're in the process of building a wall. the important thing to know about a wall, though, is a wall is not a total solution. A wall is a tool. So when you go down there, as I've done many times, when you talk to Border Patrol agents, when you talk to sheriffs, when you talk to law enforcement, you say, okay, how do we stop illegal immigration? You know, there's an old line that if you build a 10-foot wall, someone will come with an 11-foot ladder. And it's actually true. They see that pattern where whatever the barrier is, they develop tools to come across it. So a wall with nothing else doesn't fix the problem at all. The value of a wall, and the reason the wall matters and is important, is if you want to stop illegal immigration, it's the time between detection and apprehension. And a wall slows them down. They got to go. They go with grappling hooks. They go with ladders. They find ways to climb it, but it slows them down and gives you time from when you detect the incursion to get a Border Patrol agent there and to apprehend them. And so the wall helps. But we could magically have a wall on the entire border tomorrow. And if that were the only thing that changed, we'd continue to see this massive illegal immigration. Why? Because catch and release, the fact that Joe Biden won't enforce the laws and he lets everyone go, means a wall wouldn't fix the problem, because people would, they'd go over the wall and then they'd get to stay here.
Senator, 5,500 people watching. They want to be encouraged.
By the way, Benny, an embarrassing admission. So I asked for a Shiner Bock. You notice I don't have a Shiner Bock. I've got a Yuengling, which is a decent beer, but not made in the great state of Texas. And I'll say Dave, who's here, he's a Floridian, so he probably doesn't realize what a horrific screw up he's committed. So I'm just, you know, I've never fired a guy on a live stream before, but I'm just observing that out loud. I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm not saying it's not. So, you know, Dave, don't unpack your suitcase or anything. But.
Well, poor Dave. I know, you can see that it's Texas senator with a Pennsylvania beer.
It's truly embarrassing.
Man.
But I did at least out myself, so I didn't let you catch me with it. I went ahead and just pleaded guilty.
I can attest. I have been in the same room as the senator drinking Texas beer, and Texas has incredible wine country. It has incredible bourbon. It has incredible beer, and it's all in jeopardy right now with open borders. You're not going to have a Texas left in open borders. Everybody I know that lives in Texas is saying crime is through the roof.
Yep.
It is unstable. Our communities are unsafe. Our communities are filled with COVID because if you look at numbers like in McAllen, Texas, as you talked about today, we watched all of your press conferences today. You really hit hard on this. These places are being overrun and these people are sick. They are, according to the numbers, they're coming across sick. Can you take anybody seriously on COVID in this administration if they have an open border?
No, but what COVID reveals, in any crisis, you reveal someone's character. Mm-hmm. The left, Democrats, are authoritarians. They believe they can control every aspect of your life. They're comfortable with jackboots. These are the people that shut small businesses down across this country. These are the people that shut schools down for a year. These are the people that ridiculously, and the hypocrisy reveals a lot of it. So when you see Democrats say, if you're protesting with tens of thousands of people screaming Black Lives Matter, no risk of COVID, it's perfectly safe. If, on the other hand, you go to church and sing Amazing Grace, everyone's going to die.
Yep.
And it's such a crock that everyone knows it. And so their view on the border also is, I mean, these are people that are issuing mandates, ordering Americans to get vaccinated, which is ridiculous. Look, personally, I'm pro-vaccine. I've taken the vaccine. My family's taken the vaccine. I also believe in individual liberty. I believe that you ought to have the right to make your choice about your medical care. Gavin Newsom is ordering every school child in California to get the shot. What an insane violation of individual liberty. I mean, that is offensive. And at the same time, Gavin Newsom doesn't care at all about 2 million illegal immigrants flooding into this country, 10 to 20% of whom have COVID. You know, it's interesting. You talked about the press conference today. I talked about the numbers from McAllen, Texas. So McAllen, the Biden administration has released over 7,000 illegal immigrants into McAllen, which is down on the southern border, right in the Rio Grande Valley, who had COVID. So over 7,000 illegal aliens who had COVID were released in McAllen. And I pointed out the population of McAllen, 141,000. So that means 5% of the city's population are illegal immigrants with COVID released by Joe Biden this year. So here's a funny follow-up. The Dallas Morning News is going to fact check me on this. And the reporter is fact checking it because I said, you know, today, 5% of the city are illegal aliens with COVID. And Dallas Morning News says, well, we don't know that all 7,000 remained in McAllen. And I'm like, well, no shit. Okay, fine. So help me on this, Dallas Morning News. So you're saying that COVID positive illegal aliens were smuggled to cities all throughout America. All right, number one, I'd be interested in the Dallas Morning News. Tell me where any of them are, because you don't know. And how many are in Dallas? And what are you writing about the illegal aliens in Dallas that Joe Biden is sending who have COVID? But I'm probably going to get a pants on fire that not all of the 7,000 released in McAllen stayed there. That shows.
McAllen has now a Republican mayor. Am I wrong?
You are not wrong, and it's a big deal. I mean, McAllen has been, South Texas has been bright blue a long, long time. You know, several weeks ago, I was down in South Texas, and I did roundtables. I was in Uvalde, I was in McAllen, I was in Laredo, I was in Roma, I was in Edinburgh, and I did roundtables. Number one, I did roundtables with landowners, with ranchers and farmers. And you want to talk about angry people. I mean, people are furious where the damage to their property is daily. I had multiple women who were ranchers down there who described, they said they would not let their teenage kids go out on their ranch without a loaded firearm on them because there's so many traffickers traversing their property that it's not safe for them. I had one woman who described she was coming home, unloading groceries, set down a bag of potatoes, went in, came out, it was gone because the illegal aliens stole the bag of potatoes from her driveway. Another woman said they find them charging their cell phones just sitting in their back porch. And we're talking day after day after day. Imagine how upset. You know, I suggested this the other day. You know, when you've got 15,000 Haitian illegal immigrants under the international bridge at Del Rio, imagine the reaction if all of those folks were crossing into Martha's Vineyard. Like you would get liberals losing their minds.
Martha's Vineyard would have an East Berlin Wall.
It is, the left does not care about, and the impact. You talked about McAllen has a Republican mayor. When I was doing roundtables, it was also with sheriffs and law enforcement and local elected officials. Just about all of the local elected officials in South Texas are Democrat. It's been historically Democrat for 100 years. Almost every single one said to me, they said, Ted, if the Democratic Party nationally is open borders, I can't be with them. And so we had just a couple of months ago, McAllen elected a new mayor, and it is the former head of the Republican Party there who's the new mayor, and it's got Texas Democrats freaked out. I think it is the sign of things to come. And I believe 2022 is going to be a wave election, an awful lot like 2010 was.
We're seeing a lot of those signs. I know that we're getting everyone. The senator has to go on Sean Hannity very soon. I'm sure he will be back to join us. I'm being told last question. We ranked our questions. We had thousands of submissions. We want this to be a vector for people to talk to you. We have 5,500 people watching right now. All live. Awesome. The number 3 question. Number 1, let's go, Brandon. Number 2, the border. Number 3, what the hell with this FBI calling parents domestic terrorists? I know you hit hard on that. With whatever time you have left, Senator, please sound off.
It is insane. It is an abuse of power. So the Attorney General this week sent a memorandum to the Department of Justice and the FBI saying parents that go to school boards and complain about critical race theory, a vicious, racist lie that is being taught to and being used to indoctrinate school kids. A lot of parents are understandably upset. And the Attorney General said that that those parents are threats and they're domestic terrorists, and directed the FBI to use every tool the federal government has to go after the parents. And so today, the head of the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice was testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee. She is a hard partisan leftist. And so I asked her, I said, number one, were you consulted on this memo? She refused to answer. Well, I can't tell you what I talked about and what I didn't. Sure you can. You just refused to. I said, well, all right, tell me this. Do you agree with the Attorney General that parents complaining about critical race theory to school boards are domestic terrorists? She refused to answer that. Antifa terrorists who riot in cities, are they terrorists? She wasn't willing to say. I said, all right, how about Black Lives Matter terrorists who looted stores and firebombed police cars and murdered police officers? Are they domestic terrorists? She said, well, everyone has a right to express their views. What utter crap. People who are firebombing cities and murdering police officers, the Biden Department of Justice doesn't think they're a threat. But moms at a PTA meeting, God help us, Al-Qaeda is coming because mom is pissed. These guys are radicals, they're partisans, they're dangerous. And all of us have a responsibility to call them out, but also just make fun of them. What utter garbage. If you can't figure out, give me two pictures, one lunatic that is firebombing a city and murdering police officers, the other a mom expressing her displeasure to school board. If you can't figure out which one is a domestic terrorist, you don't belong at the Department of Justice.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much, Senator, for holding these people accountable. Our audience is a positive audience. Give them a little encouragement before you go on Hannity. What should they be looking forward to? It seems like dark days right now.
Well, since this audience is technological, is engaged and online, what they should do is all go subscribe to my podcast, Verdict with Ted Cruz.
Awesome.
And it's we put it out every week. We have a lot of fun. So go subscribe to the podcast and go turn on Hannity. You can watch the live stream and watch Hannity at the same time, and hopefully I won't suck on Hannity.
Senator, I don't know if you were watching the comments, man. People would just love this. I hope that we can do this again. It reaches people right on their phone. They can see it. They can watch it. It's awesome. We appreciate it. We appreciate you fighting. Thank you so much. The beard is awesome. Your memes are amazing. They're so dank. And let's go, Brandon.
Awesome.
Let's go, Brandon. Later, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you for watching. We are 100% independent news. Are you sick of being lied to? We certainly are. That's why we started this channel. But we can't do it without you. We can't keep going without your help. All we ask is that you click like and subscribe and share this video. It's free. And it keeps us going, it keeps us growing, and it keeps us getting the truth out there to break the rotted corporate media infrastructure that wants to lie to you every single day, wants to corrupt your narratives, your truth, your story, and your very society. So support us by clicking like, clicking subscribe, and thank you, Patriots.